Documentary film City of Ali, which premiered earlier this month in Muhammad Ali's hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. The legendary Ali was one of the greatest athletes of all time, but he was also a world-renowned humanitarian and civil rights activist. The documentary follows Ali's life and the events after his death in 2016 due to Parkinson's disease, when over 100,000 people joined his funeral procession in Louisville. Joining me now is Khaliah Ali, daughter of Muhammad Ali, and her son Jacob Ali Wertheimer, grandson of Muhammad Ali, both human and civil rights activists in their own right. Thank you both for being with us. Let me start with you, Khaliah. Your father was a larger-than-life figure. He left behind a legacy of being a fighter, not just in the ring, but out of the ring and out in the world. And as you know, I got to know when I was a very young man that had a front row seat on a lot of those fights. And he really was committed to those fights. This film grapples with that legacy. Explain it to us.
You know, the film actually captures a day that was probably going to be etched in our memory, certainly as his children and for many people around the world, as a very extraordinary day. You know, my father's passing, we just see nothing but vivid, colorful expressions of love from people everywhere. Louisville stood still for a day. The violence stopped. People of all socioeconomic backgrounds came together, and they truly gave my father the farewell that he always lived every day in giving them. It was just filled with love and acceptance, and it was extraordinary. So the film allowed us to kind of step outside of the bubble that we were in and see what was going on everywhere else. It was really extraordinary.
Now, Jacob, your generation knows the name of Muhammad Ali mostly through black and white photos in the history book. Does the film have lessons for today's activists?
I think the film very much speaks to a lot of what's going on today and in the world right now. I think it's very important to remember that this is taking place in Louisville, Kentucky, the site in which, as we all know, it happened to Breonna Taylor. And I think the film shows what a city is capable of when it comes together, what the city is capable of in terms of times of turmoil and overcoming turmoil, and really the man who my grandfather was and his stances for civil rights and for advocacy and to make this world a better place and to fight against white supremacy and to fight for justice.
Khaliah, tomorrow is Father's Day, and you had the unique experience of sharing your father with the world. What was that like growing up? And 5 years ago, what was it like to witness millions of people around the globe mourning him alongside you and your siblings?
I would tell you love. Love was the constant theme. You know, as a child, I wasn't even aware my father was famous until I saw him in a photograph with the Beatles. And I said, for what reason are they visiting you? You know, my father just was, it just always one and oneness with people. I like to always say he kind of was classless. He belonged everywhere with everyone at all times. And, you know, 5 years ago when he passed, that's exactly what that day was. Everyone came together to give him a farewell and express the love and gratitude to us as a family that they had for him. Al, it truly was extraordinary.
In addition to this film, I know that both of you are involved in civil and human rights activism in your everyday life. Can you tell me a little about some of the causes you're involved in now and how the legacy of Muhammad Ali impacts your efforts? Jacob, you first, then Khaliah.
I can say certainly for me, you know, being an activist was ingrained in me at a young age in terms of carrying on my grandfather's legacy, but also making this world a better place. I was fortunate to be able to go to the Congo at a very young age, the site of the Rumble in the Jungle, and being one of the first members of the family to return after the fight. And while I was there, to be able to rebuild hospitals and build a school for hundreds of young Congolese girls. And with that in my veins, you know, it's become very clear to me that I want to dedicate my life to this struggle and to making this world a better place for my people, for all of our people, as I intend to pursue the law and to go to law school and understand how I can use these avenues to really continue the fight that my grandfather devoted his life to.
Khaliah?
You know, I've always felt the best way to curate my father's legacy is not only through the Ali Center, but also through many causes that are laudable. When we took the trip to the Congo, one of the things that we witnessed firsthand was the atrocity of land lab-grown diamonds. And I've never owned a diamond in my life. I'm allergic, you know, as a woman, as a mother, as a consumer. It's something I'm very passionate about. Out of all the organizations and charities I work with, over 10 boards, this one's most near and dear to me. And you know, for me as a mother, to give a piece of my father that I could have never provided my son with has been the greatest gift of all, truly, and that is steeping his background and his life in public service.
Well, I really, I covered the time I spent with him as a youngster, watching, he watched me grow in activism, and I think about it, I stay in touch with Lonnie. I was thinking about it while y'all were talking. I could hear your grandfather saying, Jacob, show up to listen to my grandson, he talk better than you. That's how he used to joke. I'm sure he'd be proud of both of you. Thank you both for being with me tonight. Up next, my final thoughts. Stay with us.